Happy Friday, everybody. Over the last 2 weeks, we have been studying the oceans. We started off by learning the names of the oceans all around our planet. And then after that, we talked about the different levels of the ocean and the creatures that live at the different levels, and how important sunlight is, because sunlight helps to make plants and algae and phytoplankton to grow to feed the whole food chain in the ocean. This week we picked if we were team shark or team dolphin. Yesterday talked a little bit about coral reefs. And today I wanted to finish up our study of the ocean with a book that's actually like a poem that reminds us how important the ocean, or they call it the sea, is to human and to our planet's existence. So just take a seat, relax, it's Friday, and listen to this poem, This is the Sea That Feeds Us. It's by Robert F. Baldwin, and it's illustrated by Don Diane. This is the sea that feeds us. This is the sun that shines on the sea that feeds us. These are the plankton, floating free, zillions of creatures alive in the sea, making their food from the light of the sun that shines on the sea that feeds us. There's kind of a caption over here that says these are phytoplankton. Phyto means plant, and plankton means wandering. Phytoplankton are wandering plants. Here is a shrimp as small as a snail, lots of legs and a squiggly tail, dining on plankton floating free, zillions of creatures alive in the sea, making their food from the light of the sun that shines on the sea that feeds us. Over here it says very young shrimp eat phytoplankton, but as they get bigger they eat zooplankton, a tiny animal that also eats phytoplankton. A curious girl with a sandy pail caught a shrimp as small as a snail, lots of legs and a squiggly tail, that ate the plankton floating free, zillions of creatures alive in the sea, making their food from the light of the sun that shines on the sea that feeds us. Down here it says nothing would live in the oceans if there were no phytoplankton. They're like the grass, the basic food of the sea. This is the wind, mighty and grand, that drove the waves upon the sand and made the gloomy storm clouds fly like airborne whales across the sky. The roaring wind and the blooming gale thrilled the girl with the sandy pail who caught the shrimp as small as a snail, lots of legs and a squiggly tail, that ate the plankton floating free, zillions of creatures alive in the sea, making their food from the light of the sun that shines on the sea that feeds us. It says down here that storms and strong currents help phytoplankton to grow by churning up nutrients from deeper down in the ocean. A mother stood by the sandy shore, watching the ocean tumble and roar. She hugged the girl with the sandy pail and baited a hook in the blustery gale with a little shrimp as small as a snail, lots of legs and a squiggly tail, that ate the plankton floating free, zillions of creatures alive in the sea, making their food from the light of the sun that shines on the sea that feeds us. This is the fish with a hungry look that saw that shrimp but not the hook, as the mother fished in the blooming gale that thrilled the girl with a sandy pail, who caught the shrimp as small as a snail, lots of legs and a squiggly tail, that ate the plankton floating free, zillions of creatures alive in the sea, making their food from the light of the sun that shines on the sea that feeds us. It says fish like this black sea bass eat shrimp or smaller fish, which eat zooplankton, which eat phytoplankton. And when the wind had gone its way, and the fiddler crabs came out to play, a barefoot man, all jolly and brown, built a fire as the sun went down. The people, as they began to cook, thanked the fish with a hungry look. They thanked the sea that feeds us all, that feeds the creatures, great and small, that feeds the crab and feeds the whales and feeds the shark and feeds the snails and feeds the ocean's fabulous fishes, a feast of their favorite seafood dishes, and feeds each shrimp as small as a snail, lots of legs and a squiggly tail, a supper of plankton floating free, zillions of creatures alive in the sea, making their food from the light of the sun and gone with the tide when the day is done, adrift in the sea that feeds us. There were two last captions that I wanted to read to you. Right here it says, the ocean not only gives us food, it gives us oxygen too. Phytoplankton produce more than half of the world's oxygen supply. So take a deep breath in, breathe it out, and say, thanks, phytoplankton, for making all that oxygen. And then down here it says, you cannot see them without a microscope, but millions of phytoplankton may live in just 1 quart of seawater. They are the silent, invisible basis of all life in the sea. So with that, I hope that you guys have an excellent weekend. Thank you for participating in our ocean study. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Next week, Miss Danny is going to be leading the theme lessons on birds. I cannot wait. There's going to be some really cool information coming, and I'll be switching over to math. Have a lovely, sunny Saturday and Sunday, and we'll see you back here next week. Bye, guys.